So now that you've seen this, what questions do you have?
Well, it seems that it is a lot more intuitive than storyline.
Yes.
And what's your criteria for choosing one over the other in general?
My first thing would
different.
be time. How much time do I have to build? Because this is very quick. It's obviously the instructional design piece on the front, you know, takes a little bit of time, but I'm not going to have to spend all that time creating logic, creating all the interaction, creating the navigation, building that all out, building the triggers to make that work. If I'm going to be using variables, I don't have to use variables. So that would be my criteria for this. In my job today, I have not built a storyline course outside of a quiz in about a year.
Oh, wow.
Because of Rise.
Did this just come out or something?
It's been a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of these things that took a little while for people to buy in, because people had a very hard time believing that this was going to replace e-learning. But I can tell you, everybody that has used Rise on as a learner has said they like it a lot because it's very intuitive. It's a lot like a blog, right? It's very much like articles that they read online. It's very phone friendly. It's mobile friendly. You know, now that you've seen it, when you're in this mode, you know, the menu's here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can go to my home page. There's my home page. I can do that. And it acts just like a website.
Yeah.
Whereas if I did a storyline file in here, it's going to just sit in one thing and it's going to act like this scenario. Right? It's going to do this. And it's going to talk to me. That's how a storyline file would work.
You mentioned at some point that you've been doing videos before, and you've been doing voice for those videos, etc. What recommendations do you have for someone who doesn't know about video editing and narration to get better at it in terms of what they do with their voice?
I would say slow down. I would say don't write a script. I would say use note cards or make a list. This is what I'm working off of tonight. Right? I'm not scripted. I'm very unscripted. I would prepare and I would practice. But that is something that I've seen a lot of people do, is they come to a video and they read a script and they sound like they're scripted. Or they stammer and they stutter a lot because they're not prepared mentally, or you know, they don't have their proper notes. They kind of just jump in and go. I think you need to do it a couple of times and then you need to cut the piece that you want. That's what I would say. The best way to do it is to practice and listen to it and watch it. And once you have to edit your own stuff, you will get better because you'll start recognizing. One of the things, when I started doing audio narration, I realized I talk really fast. I also realized that I put like unnecessary pauses in what I say, kind of like I'm doing here now on purpose. So when you hear that, you know, when we're in this environment, you don't catch it as much. It's not a problem. If I say, we're going to click on this button right here. If I do that, it just passes right past you. You guys don't get frustrated by that. But if we recorded a video and I did that over and over and over again because it was my speech pattern, it would drive you batty. And so you would, in the editing process, you would want to cut all of that out and you'd make the person sound like a champ, because somebody has to actually learn from the content that you're recording, right? So anything that you put in there, like this button here that you're going to click, it's distracting, or weird pauses, or if you've got somebody that talks like they're they're thinking about what they're going to say, right? There's people that you'll interview and they'll talk like that. Or they'll try and record themselves, and that's what they'll do because they don't have all their stuff in front of them. They don't have it all ready to go, and they haven't been practiced. So you as the editor has to deal with that. Otherwise, you're going to torture people. Could you imagine a YouTube channel full of videos like that? You had to learn. You were trying to learn something new, and just like the visual distractions, just like the cognitive dissonance, just like overload, speech impediments cause that problem also. If you're having to constantly try and figure out what somebody is saying, you're not actually listening to what they're saying. One of the things that we had was we had a gentleman that we interviewed from India, and not to be racially biased, but his English was like his third language, and it was really, really hard to understand what he was saying. And I had to make a decision. Do I put this audio recording into the course, or do I make a transcript of it, or do I put key takeaways? That's how we got to the key takeaways. That was one of the key things that made me go, we need key takeaways here for things. And we started doing it for everybody. And all of a sudden it was brilliant because you could just skim through. You didn't even have to watch the video. But you have to pay attention to that kind of stuff when you're using video. The other thing is, are people going to want the images that you're using? Right? You saw all the diagrams and things that I had in these videos. Are people going to want those? If they are, you got to provide that. Is it going to be small in the video? If so, can you make it bigger and make it an image that they can click on while they're watching the video? Did that help, Heidi?
Yes, of course. Yes, thank you.
Good.